Everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing off my new, to me, 1991 Toyota Previa. Here it is. This thing is a beast. It's so cool. Here. So this is a spaceship on four wheels, and it was just sitting and they didn't want it, so they offered it to me, and I'll take you on a little walk around the car. It is disgustingly dirty, so here's the driver's side. We'll walk along the driver's side. And we get to the back, and we have this bubble of a back window. This is not the turbocharged model. Oh, sorry, supercharged model. This is not the supercharged model. And the wind is really bad, so you probably won't hear anything that I'm saying right now. But anyway, as we walk along the side, this door handle does work. It didn't earlier, but through some lubrication on there, it's good. This door handle really doesn't work from the inside or the outside, so that's going to be our first adventure after the car wash. So I found this. This is a dual-paneled sunroof here, and this window up here was actually cracked open, and fortunately I didn't see anything in there. It was covered for a long time, so that's really good news. But you can see there's cat prints up there on the dirt and such. So is it pretty? No. Is it going to get the job done? We're going to find out. So today we're going to be dealing with a few customer complaints, which is funny because the customer's me. But we're going to be dealing with a few issues, and the first one I wanted to address was headlights. So I was driving this around the other night, had high beams but no low beams, and thought that was kind of weird. So I'm going to get this moved over to my spot, and then we'll kind of address what's going on there. So here we go. Okay, so here we are in the Previa, running in the spot where I'm going to be working on it for a while today. So the first thing was the headlights, and I noticed in the glove box we had an extra bulb. I'll pull out the box for the bulb. Here's the bulb, the extra one that we had, and it's got this big thick connector on the bottom. So I pop the hood and go down to the connector and do some inspections. Both low beams don't work, and both high beams do work, and the fog lamps work. And the switch works, and obviously we've got powers going to the switch, and everything looks good there. So to continue to troubleshoot this, we're actually going to go into the engine compartment. This is a mid-engine vehicle, but we're going to head down there and just kind of see what we find. We'll take the old scope on a rope. All right, so here we are. We're at the front of the vehicle here. This is the driver's side where the battery is at, and we're just going to do a little bit of troubleshooting. I got my my boost pack on the battery there. It's just kind of trickle charging 12 volts. It needs a new battery, and I just haven't gotten there yet. So we're going to go overhead and go over here and turn on the lights, and we'll kind of see what happens here. So lights are on, and let's see what we got. We definitely got side markers, and we got nothing on the low beams. I'll go ahead and set you down here, and I'll hit the high beams. We'll see what happens. Here are the high beams. So, as you can see, those clearly came on. And we got nothing for the low beams. So, I discovered that bulb that was in there, and I went ahead and took this one out and inspected it, and one of the filaments was broken. So, I replaced the bulb, and I thought, okay, well, you know, it doesn't explain this light. Well, it doesn't explain the other light. So I swapped it in there. The high beams still worked and the low beams didn't. And things started to get a little confusing for me. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you in here, and I'll kind of show you my test procedure here. Let's see if I can angle this in a way that you'll be able to see the connector. Okay, so right here we've got the connector for the headlight. And it's kind of an old style connector. And I'll just go ahead and pry this off here, and we'll get a look at what's going on. Old plastic. Gotta love old plastic. Okay, so that's just an oil pump over there. It's got this kind of strange pump cycle. Anyway, so here we've got our trusty old scope on a rope. This is the Harbor Freight Special. I'm going to go ahead and touch battery positive here, showing that we're grounded and our test light works. So right here we got 3 pins. And because this vehicle is so old, it's going to be pretty obvious that we're going to have low beam power, a high beam power, and a ground. So let's go ahead and figure out what's power here, if we've got power at all. And okay, so nothing on the first pin. we got 12 volts on the second pin, and we got nothing on the third pin. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on the high beams, and that'll tell us what the high beam power is. Great, so we got high beams on right over here. Let's see what we got. 12 volts on the first pin, nothing on the second pin, nothing on the third pin. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch that back to the low beams, and we'll test our ground. Okay, so to test the ground, we're going to take off our test light here. We're going to send 12 volts to the tip, and when grounded, our test light's going to turn on. So let's make sure we got a good ground here. All right, so we have 2 good powers and 2 good grounds, and our light bulb is still not lighting in the low beam setting. So what does that mean? It could be a pin fitment issue. Could be a couple things. Instinctively, after replacing the bulb, I went to go check the other one. And when I checked the other bulb, I found something interesting. It looked exactly the same as this bulb here. So how this works is there's a little locking tab here. You just are going to spin that, and out comes the bulb. And here's what it looks like. So this locking tab comes off the bulb here, and we got our dual filaments in there. And the low beams still don't work. So I bench tested this with the configuration of this setup here. So this far right pin being ground, then we've got power and power, right? Well, again, the high beams worked and the low beams didn't, which tells me the pinout for this bulb is not correct for that connector. So I went ahead and I bought some new bulbs. We're going to throw those in, and the pinout should be correct. And what happened is, on this bulb, the pinouts are actually flipped. So the power is coming in here. The bulb thinks power is coming in here, ground is coming out there, and then this is going to be power and ground over here. Well, it's actually backwards on the actual connector. So let's go grab those new bulbs and see if the pinout is correct. If it's not, I'm just going to go ahead and depin that connector down there and swap those pins around, and then we should be good to go. So let me go grab those. Alright, so right here I've got some Sylvania 9004s in stock at the local Napa, not a sponsor. So I'll go ahead and open these up, and then we will pop one in and make sure the pinout is correct. So now if you wanted, you could test this with an ohm meter and just make sure that those pins have the correct continuity. I'm not really going to worry about that. I think I'm just going to grab the old locking tab and slip it on there and see what it has to say for us.
Massive bulb, they do all the bulbs. So, that's the biggest, that's for sure. Okay, so that's stuck in there, got the locking tab. I'm going to give that a twist. And boom. Awesome.
So, success. We've got a low beam. All right, I'm going to go ahead and head to the other side over here, and let's see what that says. There we go. Awesome. Alright, so that came off, not too bad. Set down the test light, take off the locking ring, pop out the old bulb, and this is what kind of gave me that original inclination. The old bulb, the original bulb, had that kind of point on it. This one and the replacement did not. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this out and try to pull the locking tab off of it here. Kind of. She's a little finicky. There we go. Okay, so set that down up there. I'm going to grab the new bulb, slide the locking tab right on, and pop it back in the hole. Maybe you guys can see a little bit better here. Okay. Got the locking tab on there backwards. Dum-dum. Okay. So the O-ring just seats right into that hole there, locks in nicely, and then we're just going to throw on the locking tab and make sure it's in the correct orientation. Boom, there we go. Seats in nicely, and throw the connector back in, and bam, we have some low beams. Let's go test on the high beams, see what those look like. I'll set you down here, and we'll see if the high beams switch over. High beams. Yep, looks good. Throw the low beams back on. Looks good. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a bulb check, and then we got to troubleshoot some other stuff here. She's a hard shift into drive and reverse, so I'm going to be guessing low fluid level in the transmission. With all the seals and such, it's pretty old. Probably going to pop off this air cooler here. We also don't really have any heat, so I'm guessing it's just sucking down whatever coolant is there, and there's probably not much in there. I don't see any, so we've either got a leak or it's just been empty. I know the previous owner had the radiator replaced, and I'm not sure who did that, so we're gonna have to test to see what's going on with that. Haven't checked engine oil yet. I'm a little afraid to, and I'm just gonna, just been kind of avoiding that, but I'll check that next and make sure everything looks good. The engine oil axis add spot, you can actually dump oil directly in under the driver's seat because this is a mid-engine vehicle, so we'll go ahead and get going on that. The other thing that I'm waiting for is a new exterior door handle. I'll show you guys what's going on with that. So the old door handle, the lock cylinder kind of blew out of it. It broke, and so took the door handle with it and stopped mounting right, and so you can still open the door with this. It's not secure, but there's no alarm system on this or anything, so of course the inside is disgusting. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that out. Took it through the car wash, but it's still really dirty. Fortunately, everything seems to be working, so I'll go ahead and update you. You can see the door panel, the inner door panel on the back seat there. So I'll go ahead and update you once I've kind of figured out the fluid situation and what's going on with that. Here we are. The driver's seat folds back. And let's get you in here for some inspections. So here is our engine access panel in this 1991. Right down here, let's see if I can point you at this. Right down here we have our diagnostic port. This is OBD1 for a 1991 vehicle. I can't believe this thing is so old. It has 352,000 kilometers on it, which is a lot of miles, but she still runs pretty strong. So what you're going to want to do is fold the carpet up here. You can kind of tuck it back and hold it underneath the seat here. The next thing is we've got this lock system right here, and that allows this to kind of flip up. So the seat, once again, can kind of hold that little lid there. And then we have access to our engine oil add. We've got our dipstick, and right back in there we got our transmission fluid. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the dipstick, and we'll see what we got. We definitely got oil. It actually doesn't look too bad. It's not dark, it's not black. So I did just run it. It's time for a change, but it doesn't look completely horrendous. So let's go ahead and put that back in there and give it a fluid level test. So yeah, as you can see, we have, let's see if we can get that to focus. Come on. We have plenty of oil. And it looks to be in pretty damn good shape. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, that looks great. Let's go ahead and give the transmission a check. See what she has to say about that. Alright, so scooted you in a little bit there. Then pop that out. Try not to drip transmission fluid all over the inside of the car. Ooh, hello. Well, we got fluid, but boy, is she dark. There is no pink left in that thing at all. So yeah, that's pretty brown. And yeah, we got Dextron too. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this back down in there, and we'll give it a level test and another color inspection. See what it has to say for itself. Okay, so yeah, it's got plenty of fluid in it, but it is not great looking. So at least it's got something, which is good. But you know, if I throw some new fluid in there and it starts slipping through the gears, this thing's junk. I'm not spending the time, you know. I might throw some Lucas in it and sell it for a couple $100 and see if anybody wants to limp it around for a while. But other than that, I think I'll just junk it. So, well, at least we got something. Let's go ahead and check out the stuff up front. We'll check out the coolant level and see what that has to say. So I'll just bring you with me up front here. Alright, I grabbed a light here, and I'm going to go ahead and just take a peek down inside this reservoir and see if we got anything in here. Boy. Where are the hoses at for this over on this side? Yeah, she is bone dry, like bone dry. So, I'm probably going to swing down by the auto parts store and go ahead and just pick up some kind of generic coolant. We're going to top it off. You know, I might actually run the system with water first just to see if we've got any leaks, and then I'll throw some coolant in it and see what's going on. So I drove it for a good little while the other day. It didn't overheat on me, so that's good news. And we'll just kind of see where we're going from there. We might as well check the power steering fluid level while we're here. It's right over here. And just below the min line, so I could use a little top off. Got plenty of fluid in the master cylinder, the brake master cylinder. That looks good, and the brakes feel great. So I'm obviously going to get this up on jack stands and do a visual inspection of the pad wear, and we'll see what's going on. Let's see if we got any good washer fluid. I'm not really worried about that. No, that looks empty, but that's okay. I've got some sitting around. Check this oil sump. Yeah, this oil sump is completely dry, so let's see what this says. Fill engine as well as this tank. Even if you fill the tank only, it will not feed oil to the engine. Change engine oil at Toyota's recommended service interval. Okay, so yeah, this is just kind of an extra tank, and this runs down to an oil line that runs back to the engine there. So probably grab some oil for that, and we'll do a top off and fill that up, and that should satisfy that growly little pump over here. So, okay, well, I'm going to swing by the parts store, grab some coolant, maybe test it out with water first, and we'll kind of see where it's taking us.